think it just boils down to the wave clear, the fact that Liquid can push out lanes quite very easily. They'll be able to rat to OG, and eventually they'll just out-team fight them. So I think Liquid are going to take this 2-0.
All right, well, our panel is unanimous.
What's your prediction, Carl? Hold on. You can't escape that.
We're unanimous. I'm just the host. I don't need to make any strong opinions.
What is this
I would love to welcome back our casting duo, OD, Pixel, and Fog. Please take us away with game 2.
Oh, sorry, it's time for a prediction.
Oh, prediction? Oh,
yeah, could you ask Carl for a prediction, please?
Oh, Kyle. Oh, yeah, sorry, Carl. We've got to go back to you for the prediction first.
I said Liquid.
Oh,
Your turn.
Okay,
You're in charge.
Thank you. We can now proceed with the rest of the show. Thanks, Carl, and thank you, panel. Have a good time watching this game, because I know I will. Fog, this looks like a load of fun, because Liquid, they've got a great draft. OG, they've just fifth picked a Terrorblade. Now, there's sort of questions asked why the hell they pick a Terrorblade, but this was sort of the magic of OG at the past, right? They draft stuff that you look at and you'd be like, what the hell are they doing? And then they win the game with it. So the question is, can they win the game with this fifth pick TB?
Huh. It's a good. Have we not been seeing? We have not been seeing many of this hero, have we?
It's been. I think it's been sort of here and there, but
a here and there one, right?
Yeah, but definitely not one of the common one.
Okay. The only thing I see is one of the bigger things I guess I see is, and I think the reason they probably picked the TB is because you're playing versus Lycan, right? Because you get your reflection later on, and you become this super beast because you get the feral impulse when you do get it on him. So you will be you'll be a monster if you're able to hold your ground as this hero. But I feel like, Liquid again have a very solid overall draft. I think they've ticked all their boxes. They have good aggression. They have tower push. They have good team fight in general too. It's not single target. So yeah, Liquid definitely are bringing quite a bit of preparation, it seems, today.
Yeah, we'll see if the sort of players as effective as their draft does certainly look to be. Obviously mentioning the lane setup, Samela is going to start with the TB in the middle lane, so we'll be playing the matchup against Mickey on the DK. Of course, Quakefer, the Lycan master, going to be taking the Lycan to the side lane this game. We'll see how these lanes go. See if Samela is able to get a good start. Obviously has to be prepared for Tiger. Tiger's definitely going to be looking to play around this area of the map, or at least coming in and out of the mid lane, as a TB on his own is certainly a little vulnerable early on. He's going to obviously pop the meta and have the abilities to secure the first wave or so. But after that, Samela's got to be careful in this mid if a gank comes in.
Yeah, definitely can. If there is like an early stun, of course, go low for Mickey. It can be possible. Mickey can also always reduce damage of TB, and he has very high base damage, so that breathe fire will be a bit annoying for Sumail. But Sumail, like you said, he should be able to get some pretty good last hits in this lane anyway, I feel, as long as the rotations don't come. As long as he knows where Taiga is on the map, Sumail should have a good time there.
Obviously, on the side lanes, what we're going in sort of potent combos. Top lane, there's the Grimstroke, Lycan early on is not necessarily going to be any things well placed, but the courier indeed not been micro too well. Quakefer, as it walks around the trees, gets taken out.
I thought it was a wolf.
Yeah, maybe he did as well. It was like, we don't worry about that one going down. Look at the lane down bottom. We have mid one, obviously switching it around, playing some side lane Leshrac. They've got some good synergy between the two of them, right? They are going to have that setup for the stun, no-tail with that shard control. But obviously Boxy's going to be quite elusive, and him and Tiger can very much, these heroes can fight back. If you sort of miss the combo's not enough. Suddenly these heroes are going to be jumping back on top.
Yeah, I think the majority of why they did this laning though is just don't have Sumail in the pressure lane, right?
Oh, for sure.
They just want Sumail mid. This is a fine lane for mid one. Maybe they'll die bottom a little bit, but Sumail's the important one in this game. He's everything for them.
And CS in that mid lane at the moment, 10 for 1, 9 for 2, so pretty much trading him. As expected, both heroes having a very nice right click to get those last hits.
I always like seeing, I feel like I just love Grimstroke a lot more than ever now, as we've been seeing him pop up like in every game, but I love Grimstroke with a hero like our Spirit, right? You just have an opportunity to always get rank swell. You can get right on top of heroes every single time too, and it's easy to set up for ganks. You can just switch to a lane, easily set up for that one. We're actually seeing OG looks like they're going to be the ones to try to make the first move to a gank. No-tail about to hit level 2. He just needs to kill that small creep right there.
See if they can do it. They're in, but the
tag team now.
Catch the two of them. Quaifer's getting low, and with that tag team, it is enough to get the kill. Now Tiger comes in with the response, rolls in over to No-Tail. Seb starts to back off, pops the Sal. Already looking for a chance to maybe get back involved in this engagement. It's a 1-for-1. Of course, OG are going to be the happier ones. They're taking Quaifer out of the lane. Maybe even pushing for a bit more harassment. Seb's able to shove back Tiger with the cogs. And no follow-up catch or kill potential. So just the 1-for-1.
Seb, though, no thanks. Well, it doesn't quite connect. Neither is the boulder.
They may still get him.
They've got the slow.
Yeah, he gets slowed by the stroke of fate. The Wolves are out. The Wolves, in fact, inside of the cogs. They'll get him. Quaifer quick there with the summon walls and make sure that Seb still goes down, despite pushing back the heroes themselves with the cogs.
It looks it's just going to be, I mean, we're actually going to have a tri-lane, maybe? Tri-lane versus tri-lane for a little bit. It looks like Taiga is maybe going to make some moves around, but I think they both want to probably just duke it out. And that's what I love to see, you know? OG and Liquid, these two teams definitely like to fight a lot. Insania.
He's a little surrounded. He's not got much to save himself here with the tag team. Slowing him down. Insania will fall. This tri-lane of OG, incredibly scary. Liquid have to be careful with their positioning. Anyone that gets run down by a Tusk and a Clock at this point will die.
I feel like you have to get, you're a lane that you have to get kills because you're playing with this, like, your Clockwork and like a Shadow Demon. Your Clockwork, he's not going to get the most like farm in the lane, so I think you have to try to just set up for those constantly, as they will. Even though they have a double creep wave, they're looking to get aggressive on Quaifer.
That's what they can do here. Quaifer, a little bit of a rough target to get, but if you get a sharp block off like that, you'll have no trouble bringing him down. No-Tail, excellent placement. Of course, whilst this all went on down bottom, Liquid were also able to make the aggressive play. Tiger and Boxy team up and take advantage of the fact that mid-one has been left alone. Back up top, Sax actually getting slowed down here. The Wolves won't have enough to kill him off though, and another salve is popped, keeping him safe.
Very aggressive move by OG, as I was mentioning. That's a kill lane. Just keep going for those kills. They had a double or more creep wave coming into them. Now Seb has 3 range creeps. He's able to farm that one nicely. The supports are going to leave him. Give Seb all that XP. You see Saksa as well as No-Tail just like stealing later, setting up for the runes already.
On bottom lane, Quaifer obviously deciding he doesn't want to have anything to do with that top lane. Moves down bottom, and as soon as he moves down here, he's going to be able to get himself involved in another kill onto mid-one. Boxy and Tiger able to catch in there. Tiger finding a beautiful angle with the rolling boulder.
And I like this switch.
As soon as he's back to lane, he's not going to have a TP as well, so this is really going to slow down mid-one's laning.
Yep. I like the switch up right here by Liquid. They're just send Quake for bottom because the Clockwork actually causes pressure. Boxy, he has no concern. Versus a Clockwork, he should never get picked off here. He should be able to play freely up here for the most part. So I do like the adjusting depending on the movements that have been happening.
And we'll see what OG's response is going to be. Mid-one starting to make the move down the mid lane. Already this tower will be pressured. Mickey popping the Elder Dragon form. No-Tails may be looking for some sort of setup, but Tiger is here ready to respond if OG try and make a play between these two heroes. Mickey that's forward. He's able to get the Dragon Tails done in onto mid-one, and poor on mid-one. As soon as he's back in the game, this is 3 times in a row where Liquid have instantly been able to send him back to base. As mid-one's game with those 3 deaths in a row, this early game is a disaster for him.
And you can see that Liquid, I was mentioning, they're planning. It's a lot of planning coming in, and the movement to bottom for Quaifer, I feel like was excellent. And then this move, they're playing versus a Tower Blade. The panel also touched on how defending towers for OG is very difficult. They have to just straight up fight. They can't actually nuke it out. We see they're bringing Sep to try to slow it down as well, but he may have just walked into his death.
He tried to wrap around, but this was a wrap around onto 3 heroes, and Mickey still had the Dragon form going. That was a very ambitious attempt from Sep to try and set something up.
They just want to push him off the tower, is what I think, at least, right? Like, I think even if he died there, I think his idea is probably, tower's alive, right? Like, it's not a good death, but at least he gets them off that tower, and that's allowing Sumail to continue being able to do in the jungle and, make his movements freely.
Yeah, he really is making them freely. Top net worth at the moment at Sumail, as he's able to take up all the space whilst the action went on elsewhere, focused around that mid lane. See how Liquid want to play. I mean, if you are Liquid, are you ignoring Sumail and just playing for the towers, the objectives, and just playing in a manner that you feel like you can get this game done with before the Terrorblade is any sort of threat, or do you expect to see some more prioritization of trying to deal with the Terrorblade's free farm right now?
I think the towers are the first form. Like, you have to be able to get into the jungle freely, otherwise there's too many access points with all these towers. So I think with their lineup, getting the first 2 tier 1s can be pretty easy for them. With a DK and a Lycan, they can easily set up to split push those, and then they can look to get involved. I already saw them like very early on getting those deep wards in, so they were willing to try to at least watch him.
Seb, this Chan gets the hook in onto Mickey. Mickey still got the stick charges, turns with the start, but the follow-up stun is there from mid one onto Mickey. The dream call though is down to the 3 of the Mickey, still alive, gets underneath the tower. No-Tail's trying to finish him off. No-Tail pulls the stick, he still cannot kill his DK. He's tanking the tower. No-Tail will fall alongside though. Over 3 of them, everybody dying here on OG. As again, they are desperately trying to get a fight going while Sumail farms, but that time round it costs everybody their lives. They just are not prepared to fight Liquid 4 versus 5 at the moment.
I feel like this is going to be the story of the game for, I mean, maybe the entirety of it, because they just have such a quick, fast-paced lineup that's very strong at fighting. It's really just Sumail's going to be running around trying to look for his farm, but now Sumail even getting gone on.
They're able to close the gap with the ink swell. Seb is able to push in, and that will push them away. So OG able to, at least fortunately for them, respawn in time to get in and make sure that Sumail can back off with his life intact.
They're already pinging bottom now on Liquid. They see several heroes rotated toward top, so they're probably telling Koi, but he can easily go to threaten this tower. He's approaching his book. He's got the Dominator finished. Mickey has Dragon form. He's actually going to be the one that runs down bottom too. So they have Boxy up top, who's the one, Boxy as well as Insania, that were positioned on top to be able to spam the wave out, and yeah, OG can't actually even touch it and push forward. So Liquid with just great movements all around this first 9 minutes.
Yeah, you can really sort of feel the direction with each of their movements. As OG very much sort of just struggling to make sure they do not lose too much here in the early game, and that Sumail can continue to have the space he requires to sort of get those first 2 items, you know, to a point at least where Sumail can be prepared to join the defense when it does inevitably get to the high ground hold quite early this game, with the way that Liquid's going to be playing against OG.
I mean, this game is gonna go so fast though, right? Because you're playing versus DK and Lycan. You know the pace that Liquid's gonna set, and they're just gonna constantly be addressing and poking at your towers. You have to make sure that you're doing the same and getting something out of the map while they're doing all this. Sumail is trying to find a place to making his way toward bottom. They did at least get top tower, but you can see Liquid, they're already preparing for the next steps. Taiga's getting deep wards down.
And kill Mickey. Mickey able to use the Dragon Tail to stop the snowball immediately now. It does come on after. There's the wraparound there from Quaper. He's ready to join this fight. In they go with the AWP. Boxy's able to get the 2-man green call. Both of them locked down. Sax are being focused by Quaper. He pushes back the Shadow Demon to make sure there's no save. Already one down. Seb tried to jump in over towards Insania. Insania's got the ink swap stun. Sumail with the damage from the Metamorphosis though does manage to clean up 2 kills for OG. So OG will be able to find a fight where Sumail is able to excel. They join him by his side, and they do manage to get some kills for their Terrorblade.
Yeah, very nicely set up. They had to bring everybody in order to be able to respond versus Liquid. Liquid were also making sure that they keep addressing and keeping that pace up, but do get punished a little bit there. Now that there's gonna be no meta for 100 seconds or so I imagine Liquid is gonna keep trying to set that pace.
Seb, it was trying to poke around for a little bit more. He does have the back of a mid one, but Taiga's quick with the dodges the stun. And of course the follow-up nukes from Insania and the right clicks from Quaper take down Seb. So another failed attempt there, unfortunately, from Seb to try and get something going for his team. Quick roll back will separate Taiga from No-Tail. Sumail also showing his face, feeling, you know, pretty strong. You know, at this point, 11 minutes in with the Yasha and the 3 Wraith Bands Treasure. You know, he does hit very hard each time with the meta up. They do have to be careful, Liquid, how they push into the Terrorblade. Sumail already posing some threat in these fights.
Yeah, they're gonna need a little bit of an easier way to just get on top of them. They always will have their spirit, which is gonna be great. But the puck also is going to be another good option, as Boxy is going to be going back for the blink, but they should have good ways to slow down Sumail in the fight, since he won't have BKB for a long time.
Really trying to force it here, roll right up towards the
very far forward.
TP's come in, and Saxa, he realizes this is not a place to fight. He's already backing out of hit. I mean, we're really just seeing OG, they're going for it. We're having No-Tail and Seb just charging in every single time, and they are dying quite a few times because of it. But there's obviously some sort of thought behind these moves. You know, Sumail is getting space, so maybe there is some sort of cause to the chaos that OG is throwing, which does seem to, at the moment, just sort of help Liquid in the way that they are now going to get these early items just that little bit quicker, because they're getting these kills handed to them by OG.
Yeah, and they can go force a Roche at a very alarming pace with this Lycan who's approaching his book 3 very soon. OG will always have ways to keep tab because they do have clockwork, so they can always constantly throw rockets over there to see that positioning. But yeah, like you said, OG has just been kind of like throwing their bodies and just being like, all right, Sumail, good luck. You know, we're giving you the space.
I mean,
Carry us.
This game is entirely on Sumail. Yeah, you can see sort of separation of the net worth. You know, it's got to the point where, yeah, the 3s and the 4s, they're just ready to be sort of fodder on the front lines. You know, these are heroes that are going to run in and die. OG strat just relying entirely on Sumail's shoulders to carry them.
Radiant
In terms of money, he is certainly staying up there. Still, top net worth. Manta style is pretty much complete. So Sumail will be a harder target to deal with. The silences, at least he'll have an answer, a way to be able to stand his ground and remove the silence, get the thunder off if Liquid are able to get on top of him.
Just has to watch out for his mana a little bit. I think the book 3 is about to be finished up too, so that can cause problems. This book, you know, it hurts. It also burns a lot of your mana inside of those fights too. Looking to get aggressive top, OG.
See if they can get away with this time as Saxa. Trying for some sort of a setup, but Mickey's going to be quick with the response. Just pops his ult, turns, and you know, Saxa's sort of taking a page out of No Tails and Sebs, but you know, Zar can do it too, running in and die. I mean,
it looked like Boxy considered actually coiling Sep. They must have made a call not to, because he had Koikfa right next to him with the Centaur creep, but I think someone made the call to just hold the coil for the next few moments, because he was standing right on top of the clock. They probably could have gone for the kill.
As you say, it's incredibly fast, but 3. They're eyeing up what their next objective wants to be. Mickey still with a bit of time left on the Dragon form. Quake for hanging out the pit, but the OG's going to be aware of this, and Seb does have hook shots, so a little hard for Liquid necessarily to go for that objective whilst OG have Tiger rolling him deep. Yeah, Quake's going to pop the ult. They're ready to try and fight here behind and close to this tier 2. Jumping over the blink dagger, they'll get on top of No Tail. The rest of OG staying safe behind the tier 2 tower, but with that quick move, Liquid will be able to pressure onto the 3rd tier 1 tower, and obviously no chance of OG being able to defend these tier 1s. This one will go down as well. 15 minutes in.
They might keep going. Let's see what they consider doing. They're actually going to get the coil in the back.
I mean, the way the Liquid want to play, it doesn't matter what sort of kill, any sort of kill like that. OG, if their numbers are down, they cannot defend, right? You take away a support and suddenly the map is free for you to push in and just continue to play at this pace. Back in the river, he's found Insania, and Insania will go down. He does manage to get the soul bind off, but there's no follow-up. Koifa able to kill off No Tail yet again with Tiger and Mickey's help.
They force the glyph on the tower, and then they back away after they force some reaction. OG get at least something for themselves, and Sumail is continuing to farm, but you are starting to see it. It's just him. It's going to be just him versus the world.
I mean, do you see a world where Sumail is going to be able to carry this as this TB? Because he really is hitting some fantastic levels of farm. You know, his sort of pace and opening to this game has not been knocked off course at all. He's getting everything from the map that he'd hoped for. The question is this hero enough to sit there on the high ground of OG and push back any attempts from Liquid to push in? Because they are able to stop a few pushes, this TB is going to get to the point later on in the game where Liquid's heroes aren't going to really be able to deal with him that well.
Seb top, Inkswelled Wolf right on top of him. Will get stunned up, but now the rest of OG is responding.
And bringing in TB as well, Sumail. Ready to fight, pops the meta, looks towards Tiger, but Tiger's already out with the roll and goes for the straight TP. Is there anything to cancel it? There is not. So that is a meta pop by Sumail and no chance to actually hit the heroes of Liquid. They're able to separate successfully from the TB.
That's painful, definitely. 140 seconds, they know it as well. Look, Tiger's even putting down the Saris with the little flags. They know how aggressive they can play now. That is pretty much the only thing that OG has going for them, is when they have meta available to look to actually take a straight up fight. Besides that, it's just going to be pickoffs from a hook shot and then someone being isolated. It's really just all about that metamorphosis. And as your question was asking, like, he does have the only thing I'm like giving him a little bit of a chance, I guess, is because of reflection on Lycan, because he'll get that big damage burst and he can hold his ground if he gets to the point where he has BKB, but it's still going to be very tough because it's going to be just him. This Leshrac and Clockwork are going to fall off pretty hard, pretty fast.
I mean, because, yeah, you're right. If you do the maths, it's a 50% bonus damage, and I imagine that only takes into account the base damage, but as you say, with the meta, you know, with TB, most of it is base damage.
Exactly.
So it is an insane amount of damage to be buffed up by.
Dire are scanning.
And it is going to need to be, if it's going to give OG a fighting chance. Sitting on the shoulders of this TB already around the pit. Liquid able to come out and take a fight. The Saxa and No-Tail getting a little too close. Some ball-on-ball action here as Tiger follows the snowball with his own boulder. They'll get the 2 kills, and this Roche should be dead unless Seb can make some sort of miraculous play with the hook shot. And Mickey, he's already making sure that's not going to happen. Playing around with the clockwork. Insania, Foxy, they'll join the forces to kill off Seb and make sure that he has no chance of succeeding in his dream to interrupt this Roche. As Koifa finishes it off, Liquid continuing to hit all the timings, all the objectives they need. Get this 5-man lineup closer and closer towards OG's base and closing this game out.
You can literally just see how confident they are with the way that they're playing inside of the fights too. Like just having Koifa hitting by himself, and now immediately they're setting up for top mid one. Wait, did he not hit him with the coil? It looked like he got it in time, right? But it didn't. I think he just didn't clip him on the edge of it up top there.
No, I didn't quite catch it actually. I was serving elsewhere. What?
He was TPing out top
saw
and
the animation,
Boxy.
or?
I think Boxy got the coil before the TP. I think he actually just whiffed it by a tiny little bit, but my ears could be wrong.
In terms of timing or positioning, was he slightly off the mark? Or?
I think he was off in his positioning of the coil, but the timing, I believe my ears heard that right. That whatever. Either way, they missed out a kill on mid one. And they don't have coil now for a little bit, but we still are feeling Liquid very strong. Getting their lanes all in good positioning here at the moment too.
Just tying up these tier 2s now. Mickey starting to bring in the push down bottom. I mean, as strong as they are, they can even push into multiple lanes right now. Quoth is able to pressure towers.
Oh, Saxa, he gets spotted.
And here, sort of, the feed train continues for everyone on OG apart from Samael. Just throwing bodies at Liquid, just trying to slow them down. You know, if they're killing me, they're not killing the base. That's sort of the strat that OG's heroes are playing by.
Yep, and now they're actually noticing that Sumail has bought the Eagle Song, so they're gonna know this is gonna be a Terrorblade who has now just completed the butterfly. I don't know if the Wolf saw it on time, but they can assume no buyback, no gold for BKB. You can really focus fire pretty hard. Let's see what they do.
He's going to find a commitment straight away in onto mid one. They jump in onto the ledge. Ledge is able to pop the Yules, but start out onto the 2 of them. No-Tail into the snowball. Silence onto Samael, but Samael already with the meta. He's hitting hard. He's able to take down the Lycon once. The Aegis pop. Can they do it a second time? Samael falling low. He's ready to take the of Koifa, get back up to 4. The shards won't catch Koifa, so Koifa's able to get out now. Liquid, they can collapse him onto the heroes of OG. They're in on top of Samael, and he may have taken the Aegis away from the Lycon, but Liquid, they hit back hard. They take him out, and the rest of OG, it's a team wipe. A buyback will come out from mid one, but of course mid one, his game, which has been heavily butchered, just 0-6 on one of the last, he has nothing to offer at all on his own. And that, I mean, that was your fight. That was the butterfly pickup, and it only got you an Aegis.
Perhaps if there was no Aegis, maybe it could be a different story, but Liquid prepared, right? They had that already done, and now they see the itemization too from Sumail, so they know that butterfly is done. And now with no meta, and that was the fight pretty much that was the turnaround. If OG was able to turn this game around, I feel like that would have been it. Now they're 9k behind, their lanes are going to get pushed in even more so because of all this downtime. And yeah, it's just really a single core TB versus the world.
It really is Samael versus the entirety of Liquid right now. So, drive with the hook shot, won't find Mickey. Good with the quick sidestep.
Man, I actually also noticed something in the fight. Yep. I kind of forgot about this a little bit. I mean, it was changed a while back, but Howl is also really good in a way versus Terrorblade now, because sure, he gets your problem plus, but then you get howled and you lose 40% of your damage reduction. Damn. You lose 40% of your damage, so that's actually a new thing that you kind of have to think about. Yeah, there's so much damage reduction that actually had on him. He was still hitting really hard, but yeah.
Well, you see, I've got to see his number. His damage must go right down.
Yeah, right. Like I honestly forgot that Howl did a damage reduction for a little bit. So.
I mean, that's a scary amount of damage reduction for this TB. I mean, Samael, as you say, sure, still with the meta, you're probably hurting a little bit, but I mean, without the meta, you're not going to have any damage. You know, that damage is going to be entirely gone. You're not going to. Yeah. You're gonna hit like nothing at all.
it's kind of cool because, like, you know, TB versus like when we talked about the, you know, the you getting your reflection of impulse, but now the how kind of maybe changes things a little bit. I still see picking TB versus Lycan though, so.
Against all top lane. Boxy. He's ready to bully mid one that little bit more. Jumps in with the silence. The Wolf is chasing him as poor old mid one. Also, of course, just playing the same strat that Seb, Sector, and No-Tail are this game. And, you know, there's some sort of logic to it, right? You know, that's the ult quite for used outside of the base, nowhere near a push, nowhere. Oh, Samael though. Oh no, Samael's taking a page out of that platoon. They can't let Samael die. He's able to get the silence up, and Mickey is on top of him, moving in with the BKB. Seb hook shots onto the backlines. Will be able to cog it both Tiger and City. Tiger is out. Soulbind there connected it to the two. Double stun there from Mickey's Dragon Tail. Samael in trouble. He's silenced. He tries to turn. Another silence stopping him from being able to sunder. He is dead and gone. Liquid just move in, slaughtering OG. Only Seb to survive, and maybe even not as Boxy. He's chasing him into the base. He is too tanky to finish off, so Boxy will let Seb live. But 32-7, 12k in, and with the lineup that Liquid have, it is very hard to see a way that OG can come back into this game at the moment. I mean, it already starting was looking a little pretty bad for them. But at this point, what can OG do to turn this? They put everything at fail, and we're seeing that Liquid, they don't have any trouble with dealing with Samael. They can just kill him that easily. With the only the Manta, it's not enough. Without a BKB, the silences, everything, they just kill this Terrorblade every fight.
Yeah, so much control, and they are still pretty tanky, right? It's like Lycan, he doesn't have the most armor right now. He's about to have AC finished, so he can get hurt. But the damage reduction, I mean, he wasn't even getting any hits really off in that one, but I actually saw it was minus 185 when he had his meta popped.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot of minus damage.
Definitely quite a bit here. He can't hold his ground and attack people anyway because of all the disables, but...
No. And he can, I mean, the Manta is the one thing, you know, he can dispel those two debuffs, but, you know, there's only so much you can save your Manta for this game against Liquid's lineup. There's so many threats for Samael that he has to be prepared for.
Yeah, he needs, so let's see, he's still going up for the Satanic. So I think he's still just gonna get stunned. He's gonna get locked down probably. But I mean, it's such a tough decision for him because even with BKB, it's like, can he actually kill them all with during the BKB? It's just such a hard game because it's all just on. I don't know if any item would really.
That being on, I can only imagine because he is going for that Satanic other than sort of something like a BKB. Maybe he's thinking of the big things, right? Maybe it is going to be sort of Satanic Rapier. Then maybe we have a chance to take these fights. Because it's hard to see sort of any other way that Samael's going to be able to do it on his own. Even though he does still sit there at the top, it's just the fact that the rest of OG is just so far behind him. Nobody else is able to really offer much at all to help this TB.
Yeah, and there's, as you've mentioned a lot, there's a great amount of control on Liquid. It's a very well made up draft. Just stun, silences, disables across the board.
Tower is under attack. Radiant's bottom tower.
There we have it, another tier 2 taken. Only one more for Liquid to work through outside of the base, and then they can start eyeing up the high ground push. 30 seconds until Roche potentially is back up, so we could see Liquid also just taking a little chill, you know, get the Aegis and Cheese we saw last time where, as you say, OG may have been able to have found an opportunity to get a good fight for Samael when they kill off the Lycan. Quofa has the Aegis, and suddenly things don't go too great for OG once again in this game. So, you know, they wait for that Aegis and Cheese, and the chances of OG taking a fight against that are very, very slim, looking at the state of the game right now.
Don't think it'll get any easier. Just Boxy now getting Daggons, and they're just getting more burst damage and more items to address, and just single target focus down. The only hero that they really need to focus down anymore on the side of OG.
We have Quofa. He's found himself a nice little treat down bottom. No-Tail's out. No-Tail trying with the Dukes, but there's only so many Dukes a man can offer. Quofa quickly bites up his target. He's 11-2-13. And Quofa, I mean, Liquid as a whole, they have had an excellent series here against OG. Both games just looking incredibly tight with their performance, their drafts, their moves. Everything has a purpose from sort of Liquid's lineup and play today, and it's very, very nice to see. You know, Liquid, they have struggled sometimes with sort of getting stuck in their old ways, but today, and obviously had some great games, it really seems like they've found something that works very well for the squad in this patch.
I've liked, I talked about it mostly in like the last game because this one kind of picked up the pace really quickly, but warding, and I guess like his shot calling all across this game has been phenomenal. Like the way that he's made the lane swap and collapse, because I'm assuming he's the one that's calling it, has just been spot on. And his wards too, always watching movements.
Mid one. He's struggling. It's a tough game.
Tough game.
Mid lane.
Mickey though.
He's bringing down Mickey. Mickey's getting low. Mickey will fall. Sumail is able to find a core of Liquid. That's a big kill.
That's a big 60 seconds on him too. They're pinging Roche, and he has Satanic in the butterfly. All right.
Okay. Sumail, you know, he's not done yet. He's ready to win this game, Sumail. To the pit they go. Liquid are going to try and contest it. They are without the Dragon Knight though for 40 seconds, and there's no buyback. OG, they're being a little careful. With the Inkswell setup, that's going to catch 3 of them with that stun. Roll forward. Tiger, he's in on top of Sumail. Sumail, he'll turn. He's still got timing left on the meta. He's looking towards Tiger. The damage is being done there. Bringing that touch down to Sumail. He sundered himself lower. That wasn't a sunder, that was a blunder. But it doesn't matter. He's got the Satanic done. The life steal. He heals him back up to full nonetheless. They'll move up with the core though. Sumail, has he got any more defensive measures to use with no Manta, no Satanic? But maybe the passive life steal's enough. As long as he can keep hitting the targets. Turns over towards Tiger. He's getting low. Finally gets finished off. He'll buy back. He wants to come back to this fight and join the rest of his team. Quota's already been able to pick up a triple kill. Multiple buyback coming out from both sides. Tiger and Boxy buying back on Liquid. Sumail and Seb Saxa buying back on OG. Roshan still stands. The true victor here, half HP. He's still alive for now.
The Satanic actually almost coming into like he gets the Sunder, I believe, to save a teammate, and then he tries to Satanic and heal up. That was kind of cool the way he did that. Liquid now have their fighting force. DK has respawned. DK has Dragon Form in 20 seconds. Well, there we go. Sending the wolves in, and they get these stuns.
Sumail, he's still full HP though. Mid one not quite the same if for him. He's low. Boxy tries to change him to the high ground, but No-Tail's there waiting. Turns with a punch up. Boxy is committed deep for this. Sumail steps across. They take down Boxy. It's a dieback on the puck. Boxy gone for 90 seconds. A huge opening for OG to step back into the Roche pit and finish this Roshan off. Liquid, are they going to be able to intervene? Seb laying down cogs, trying to block off ports of entry. As Mickey commits with the BKB, the big old dragon ready to start fighting here with the Elder Dragon form back up. This fight's been on so long. He looks over towards Sumail. He needs help. Is he going to get it? Manta's already been used. He cannot get anything off. Doesn't die back from Sumail. They turn over towards Seb. Seb falls also. As OG, they put everything into that fight, but at the end of the day, it did not matter. Liquid able to still come in, clean up Mickey with the Dragon Form. He's going to run straight down mid. There's 3 dead on OG, none of them with buybacks available. Only mid one and No-Tail left to hold, and there's not much of a hold that these two can offer against the power of Liquid's here. As Mickey jumping in, Dragon Tail stun onto No-Tail underneath the tier 4 towers. They'll kill him off. Mid one will survive. He's able to stun Mickey, but that's all he can offer. He's the only one left alive on OG. Liquid have all the space in the world to run down mid, take this tier 3, take the racks, and almost certainly more.
And you saw the strength of Mickey really as he's just jumping forward here with the Inkswell again. He should be able to just get mid one quite easy. He just jumps in everybody because he knows he's a DK, he has BKB. He just stands his ground there when it looked like it could be a slight concern for them in the fight, but nope, with their 2 big cores, the Lycan as well as that DK, they were able to stand the ground. Even though Boxy was dead, they are very strong.
Now we saw sort of in that last engagement, you know, sure, Sumail, he is there at the top, he's got a lot of money, but it really is just, you know, that fight just emphasized how it was, it's all him. There's nobody else on OG in this game that really has any sort of items to play with here at the 31-minute mark. And in that situation, if Sumail gets compromised in the fight is just over each and every time. Liquid able to take the 2 sets of racks. They'll chill out, the game will continue, but at a 20k lead, it's once again looking very hard for OG to swing this one around, such as was in game 1. Liquid back to the pit. OG, they are going to of course head over. They know that this really last hurrah. Seb, he's going to miss the hook shot though. It whips the pit. He won't be able to get himself in. Roshan is already down. They'll get themselves the Aegis and the cheese. Liquid, they're trying to move in on this Sumail. He does have Metamorphosis available, but fighting into the Aegis and cheese outside of the base is not that appealing of a fight for OG. Their best hope now is this final attempt at a hold, but you're going to have to do it against the cheese held in place by Quoita and the Aegis on Mickey.
And they're picking up more and more items to not only just become tankier, but also, like we were mentioning, just focus fire Sumail. Dagon continues to get upgrade on Boxy. I believe Taiga I saw him get a Craggy coat, so he's crazy tanky now. And then I did see Insania. He's queued up the Ags. So, you know, that TB can be pretty strong. Make one of himself. If they want to take it to that point too, they look like they're, you know, they're ticking all their boxes just in case this game does progress, just in case things go wrong. They're playing it safe.
Smel's got to get that rapier. That's sort of the hurdle they have to climb. If he gets that rapier and Liquid mess up with a couple of high ground pushes, you got to remember there was a time where this Liquid squad, they would get megas, and they would lose the game. I'm sure they're starting to think about that a little bit. They're looking at this. If he gets a rapier, Samael, yeah, Liquid, they may sort of be flashback to the past if they're not too careful with the way they go around ending this game. But
don't bring back those memories.
Yeah, there's a lot of room for error though, with the lead that they have. It's going to take a fair few mistakes to sort of hand this game over towards Samael and OG.
He switched to BKB, by the way. I was gonna say, I feel like even with Rapier, there's too much control. Like there really is. We saw it coming into play. He's gonna get controlled in the fights.
I guess, but I mean, you know, you've got a snowball save, a disruption save. You know, just rely on your supports. They'll save you. They'll bail you out.
Sounds like the core mentality. Just rely on your supports.
Hey, you don't buy BKB. I've got a support. No, he's probably got a spell that will save my ass. You know, it's the logic. But now say Samael, he's a professional player and he's a smart player, so this is obviously the smarter decision. I'm still hoping and imagining that after BKB that final 6th slot will be reserved for a rapier, but obviously adding that to his shopping list, it's going to take a bit of time to get there. We'll see how much time Liquid does give them, as Liquid is, you know, they haven't rushed to try and push and end the game with the Sages and Cheese. They're certainly, you know, sort of making sure that just all 3 lanes are in a good position before they just actually barrel down.
They're trying to get Insania the Ags. Like they've been giving him all the farm. He's very close to it.
Oh, Soulbine's down. On to both Sem and Mid-Bomb, rolling from time. These two of OG will not be getting home safely. As Mid-Bomb's out, Seb will shortly follow.
And that's Insania's Ags now finished.
All right. So as you say, Insania obviously being the shot caller, you think as the support, you got your Ags. Now you're sort of giving the permission for the rest of the team to go end the game.
They were like just leaving him to kill creeps. So I imagine he's probably like, hey, I'm getting close to this item. Sure, we already are in a great spot, but this one, I mean, now you're gonna have a dark portrait of that PB who's already being kind of a beast, hitting back at his team. Oof.
Just cleaning up kills outside of the map. Taxes found. Liquid start the move towards that final standing tier 2 tower that OG do have.
Did you bring up the win probability, by the way?
I didn't, but I imagine it's
0%.
Yes, I would imagine so. Now this is where it gets exciting because we all, you know, we all look towards a 0% win probability. You know, we all like to see Gaben be proved wrong.
We did have one happen at TI. Remember?
We did.
We had the 0% switch into a 3% or something, and we were like, wait a minute.
He fired all the 2 programmers involved in making the win probability element of the game after that. So, you know, whoever made it this game is watching, and they're saying, Samael, can you calm down? Because my job's on the line here. And if that 0% is proved wrong, another career will end. The push comes in from Liquid. They're up to the tier 3. They do have the repair kit as well. Not quite what it was back in the day, but it is something. Samael indeed as the true warrior he is. Queuing up that rapier after the BK.
The portrait. Look at the dark portrait.
Always terrifying. No tail.
They can't do anything.
It's dying to Samael. Okay, but look at it. It's Taxa.
Taxa?
Watch out. Oh my goodness, he's dead.
You have to remember, it's the spell immune dark portrait. So that thing, when it's ink swelled and running at you, you kind of don't. You have to just run away. You can't actually do anything versus
He's so fast.
It is. I love it.
Again, honestly, I've seen this. Yeah, every sort of second that OG is given. You know, Samael, he's in the zone right now. He's just focusing on getting this rapier. If he gets it, you know, that's 0%. I don't know how 0 is looking anymore. Maybe it's a 0.5%.
There's just so much. I mean, he still has a ways for it. He at least has a BKB to play around some of the disables now. But here we go.
Oh no, this ain't the plan for Sumail. He's been caught out. The snow reminds him sometime. They turn over towards Rick at the double dagon, bringing Sumail low. Sumail pops the BKB and the Metamorphosis. He wants to commit for this fight. They've already lost their Shadow Demon and mid one slash. Quaifa tries to take a bit of a poke onto No-Tail, but he is scared of the TV. Quaifa keeping his distance. They turn back. Mickey committing, finding the stun. Sumail in trouble. Sumail will fall. He's dead without buyback. Triple kill for Quaifa. Foxy finishing the game there almost certainly with that Dagon blast to the face of mid one. GG is called and the 0% is confirmed. 54-12, 33k lead to Liquid. It's another great win from them. These lads, they've stepped it up yesterday and today. You know, taking down a team such as Secret, taking down a team such as OG. They're on a bit of a high right now, and